all of the advisors. I'm Mr. Brown. I'm the automotive guy. We got Mr. Davis in here. He's carpentry.
Carpentry.
Chef Hudman. She's our culinary arts.
Whoop, whoop.
Anybody in here for Mr. Yoder? So we got a couple of the AV guys. And then we've got Mr. Rogers over here. He's our welding guru.
Whoop.
So we are working on trying to get a few more people from other divisions. But when you guys go to skills, even at district, you're going to see that all of the vocations that you can think of, especially around what we do in industry, there are hundreds of them. And all of them have a place at SkillsUSA. So it's not just what you see here. All right, they've got so many other realms out there. So it's going to hopefully maybe inspire you or show you some other fields that you can see that might interest you as well. But the whole premise is to get you involved in something that you can be a part of. And from there, you can branch out and really show your skills. Because when we go to state, it's a really, really big rush to see all the groups that come together and all the different demographics of industry and some of the potential jobs that are out there. You guys, do we have any more seats? Y'all can probably squeeze on in. If not, Mr. Lush, you going to come up here or you go back there?
Wherever you want me. Just stand there and don't
Just
let them
stand there and yeah, don't let
As
them
long
leave.
as I'm on the camera,
Lock
we're
the
good.
door. Lock the door. Hey, are there any guys in here that are in HVAC? I know that's a new program this year. Anybody in here with that? No, I was hoping there would, so we can push for that one also.
Well,
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't put it. I wasn't
yeah, we'll work on that one next. So just for the new guys and some of the ones that are interested in kind of seeing what's out there, these are a list of some of the contests that we've entered in the past. Most everybody that partakes in skills usually will perform some sort of job exhibit. Like in our realm, we usually pick a component. We dissect it, tear it apart, go through and isolate problems, troubleshoot. Then we start making repairs. We overhaul, rebuild, and put it back together new. And I got a couple of them laying up here that they did last year. It could be anything related to the automotive industry, as long as it shows some technical ability. Culinary arts, they've got, yeah, I mean, that's
So
one
this
of
is
the.
going to be, this is Olivia's sketch for her 5-tier cake. So it's all fake cake, but all the design and stuff. So that is one of those projects, one of several projects for culinary.
Yeah, construction guys, you've had several that, you know, some down to like boot jacks up into dog houses and structures. And I mean, there's a lot of uniqueness that comes and you kind of get to have free reign for that and work with your advisors to see what works for you and what you can do. Like last year, we had some really awesome furniture that we took. One of them won best to show. In the welding department, sky's the limit. We've had smokers and trailers. We've had small stuff. There's a lot of creativity there, and that's up to you to come up with a project that works for you and decide what you want to do and what you want to showcase. We also have the skilled and technical side, the hands-on competitions. We also perform in that where we do round robins taking our training, and we use that to complete repairs. We also do diagnostic work. Welding fab, they build stuff, they get blueprints, and they actually have to sit in front of a committee and actually have to build whatever design feature it was that they were given. The guys in construction, they're out there, I mean, they're actually sometimes two-man teams, sometimes solo, and they're actually building structures. And they're using all of that training to showcase their ability, and they're graded and evaluated on it once it's set up. So you're actually out there performing what you're doing here and what you're learning. We've got leadership development. We've got tests. There's computerized tests. There's skills tests. There's job demonstrations. There's leadership things. So there'll be a few things you can do that are like you get to demonstrate a particular skill, or you might go in there and do like a job interview or some sort of task related to a leadership training or some sort of work skill. The sky is kind of the limit. So we try to push you in these different areas to show you different things you might be really, really good at and you don't even know yet. We try to showcase your ability while making you a professional member of SkillsUSA. Probably most of you already know how to join. We've talked about it now for a little while, but all it really requires to you is a commitment to do your best and try really hard, and $16 and the willingness to come up here around school hours and take care of business. The difference is when you join SkillsUSA, you're kind of a leader, you're a mentor, you're kind of the go-to for that department. So it's kind of like, you know, if you're a member of any other extracurricular activity, like it's not in addition to so much as it's all outside of and extra, like it's showcasing your abilities. The football team, you know, they don't get anything easy. It's all more on top of what they're doing. So it's the same with us with SkillsUSA. You are expected to perform to a higher standard, but also still take care of business every day like you would, even if you weren't in one of these activities. There's a lot to be said to it, and the only real commitments to you monetarily is the $16 we ask for you to pay your dues. And everything else we try to take care of in-house, be it through, if we need to, we'll try to set up fundraisers, or we're fortunate enough right now that the CTE department is as lavish it is, where we can help out and make sure that you guys are getting this extra stuff. So we want to be sure to take that, and when we do it, we want to make sure to take it seriously, because it is a very large commitment and it is very serious. We'll talk about different groups later on, but the best way to get the most information for your particular group is talk to the advisor in the field that you're interested in. So usually it's probably the teacher that you're working with. After you join, again, your advisory period is generally dedicated to you being in the group that you're set up with. So a lot of times we'll pull our groups in, and that's our time to transfer information to you, get you updates, cover paperwork, talk about projects, talk about training. Those 2 days that we have that little window in there is not always enough to cover everything we need to. That's why we do a lot of stuff outside school hours. But if you have other obligations that you have to take care of during those periods, you will have to do that first. But everything extra you'll be dedicating to SkillsUSA, and that's the time frame that we try to use to get you guys what we need. You're going to have to represent SkillsUSA and Pine Tree to the best of your ability. Again, this is all extra, and it's a leadership and a mentorship program. Okay, we don't want anybody being affiliated with it that's going to be behavioral issues or that doesn't take it seriously. This is for you. Okay, and there are people that are going to be around doing this. They're the ones that hire people. They're the ones that look for those cats that are going to have a future, and the ones that they can help guide and maybe make successful. It is up to you to get that from there and be the best that you can. Because when you're representing Pine Tree, it's one thing to, you know, kind of backslide a little bit, but when you're representing an organization like SkillsUSA, like, image is a lot. And we can't afford to let that image be tarnished by, you know, a couple people that have a moment when they're not doing what they need to do. So we have a whole separate code of conduct, and I believe we'll have another meeting later where we'll talk about that. But, you know, when we're out representing, we need to take care of business and do it professionally, because that's part of what this entity does. All right. You do have to be self-motivated. You got to go above and beyond. We will help you. We will guide you. We will give you everything we possibly can, but it's up to you to put it into fruition. Okay. We've had some cats before that we'll give some information to and say, hey, maybe this is what you need to do. And the next thing you know, they kind of deviate from it because they think what they're going to do is going to be better. That's okay. It's your choice, but understand that we kind of know what they're looking for. So if we give you a recommendation, think about what we're trying to tell you and go ahead and consider that, because it's probably going to be practical in that application. You get a lot of creativity, but we also are trying to help you be the best at what you can, because some of you guys don't exactly know what it is that you're looking for. But you have to be willing to be a go-getter. You got to be a self-starter. You got to be willing to put in the effort. Our first meeting is tonight, so question? Oh, our first meeting is tonight. That one's not a real big deal. If you're here, you're here. You probably are getting the gist of it. But one of the things that we're going to change this year is we're going to start electing officers. So our core group, once it's set in stone and we get everybody lined up, we're going to start getting you guys set up for these positions. It's going to require just a little bit more than what we've done in the past. But like, for example, on the treasury side of it, I mean, you guys are going to go through all the motions and we're going to talk about that position, but there's not a lot of money going to be exchanged, so you're not going to be overseeing that. But what we're going to do is get those people involved in a little bit of the behind the scenes for what we do and what it takes to make this actually take place. Some of you guys last year, when we started talking about the hotels and what it costs to do this, a few of you are like, really? It costs that much to do this? Yes, absolutely. It's a lot of money, and we're fortunate that the school is willing to back us on that, which is also why we want to do everything we can to make sure we're taking care of business. So our treasurer is going to be a lot involved, like with the behind the scenes stuff, so that they can convey that information. And when we start having these group leadership meetings and we start having some of these other things that we talk about, they can pass that information along and be like, hey, let's do this because look at how much money we're spending on this, or look at what it takes to make this happen. So we'll have a president, we'll have a vice president, we'll get our secretary and treasurer set up. our reporter, and our parliamentarian. And we'll go later on when we do our individual meetings, we'll go in and we'll have the hyperlink there and you can see what the responsibilities for each one of those will be. Do what?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know for my students, I posted this on our classroom, so if you want to go ahead and look at those duties for each of those positions, you can. And then don't feel like if you don't really understand it that you don't want to do it, because there's some training videos. I've got a lot of stuff in my room that can help you learn that position. So yeah, if you feel like you want to be a leader of leaders, then you know.
And some of this, when it comes to when we're going to go to the fall leadership meeting in October, whoever we elected these are going to go off with the other groups like that, and that'll be a good time to ask questions and kind of see what the responsibility is. But you'll see that those are kind of like the best of the best. Like they're the ones that their groups turn to. They're the ones that are facilitating. This is all student led. Like you guys are the ones in control of this stuff. So that's where it spawns from, for making you guys have a little bit more responsibility and showcase your abilities. Instead of having somebody else dictate what you do, where you go, how you do it, you're kind of running the show on this. So that's why we want to give you that chance to step out and really shine and gain that extra experience so that when that opportunity comes available, it's not new to you. You already know what you're doing. Speaking of, fall leadership is going to be October 9th. Depending on how many people are registered and sign up will depend on how we're going to set that up. Last year we took everybody. We may not be able to do that this year, so it may be certain classmen get to go or specific groups get to go. So we're going to have to get everybody's numbers first, figure out who's there, and then we'll set that up as needed. But for anybody who wants to showcase or has something that they want to get out of it, that's something we can talk about, and that way we make sure that everybody gets what they need. It was a really great way for you to be able to engage with some other SkillsUSA participants in the district, and a great way to ask questions.
Raylan had a question.
You had a question? What's up, man?
When we go next semester, are we still going to use Google, or are we going to use the different apps?
I don't know that we've solidified that yet, but we'll try to get something that works best for everybody so we can make sure that nobody gets left out. There was, GroupMe is great if everybody's got their notifications on, but a couple people didn't, and it was kind of tough. So, these are some more of the links that we'll talk about. Again, the clusters, that's like the area that you're in. So if you have questions, most of your advisors will be able to answer what you need. But if you have questions and you're got a little time on your hands, you can go to the SkillsUSA website and you can find a lot of these hyperlinks where you can go in and actually look and see what, like automotive, for example, is wild because there's so many areas to it. And the guys last year, when we had specific questions we were looking for, some of it might be over here, but then you got to flip way over here to find something else, and then you have to make sure it corresponds to something else. So it's a little bit of figuring out the puzzle, but everything that you could ever imagine is in the regulations. You just got to know where to look, and that's where we're going to try to help you guys. But a lot of that material you can look at on your own too and answer some of the questions that you may have.
They have not released this year's though. Like
Not yet.
official.
It's supposed to be out November, I think is when they said. And then like uniforms, for example, if you're curious as to what the requirements are, like that's a whole separate dedicated page, tells you what you have per cluster. And depending on, like my guys are allowed to wear certain uniforms for this and certain uniforms for that. There's not one that they can really wear for everything. So, I mean, they have it down to a T. Like there's a lot of information there. So we're going to try to give that to you as quick as we can so you're prepared. Kind of give you a little bit of idea just what to see and what to expect. We've got some showcases here. They have, like I said earlier, they've got everything you can imagine. District, you don't get the full taste of it when you go. You're kind of working on what you need to work on, but when we go to state, you'll see everything under one roof. Like literally everything you can imagine is there. And to see that these are kids like you guys, some of the abilities that they have is beyond your wildest dreams. It's awesome what they can do. Like Leslie here, she was in our welding class last year. She got second place and almost made it to nationals for sculpture. Same way the year before, we had a gentleman that built a sculpture of roses. He was the same way. What they can do is amazing. And they're in there with 10, 12 other people doing the same thing. Like it's not just a everybody wins kind of thing. Like it's challenging, but it's really rewarding, especially when you're up there on that stage like that. We've had a couple of cats come through, win best of show. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's one of those things that when you're up there and your people, I mean, it's a huge stadium full of people cheering you on. Like, that's pretty awesome. If you've never had that, this is a good opportunity for you to get a taste of it. It's one of those things that's really awesome. Once you've been it and seen it and done it, you want to do it again. A couple more guys down there. That was your construction crew, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
there's a couple of my cats.
A couple of your cats down there.
Chris and Johnny.
Yeah, these guys were out there, 2 days in the solid sun building that stuff. And I mean, they did really well. They didn't quite make it all the way, but they did a phenomenal job, and that was their first year to actually compete. Couple of my job exhibits we did. Aiden, he was ringleading that first engine there. This transfer case here won best of show in the automotive category. Those guys got to go down on stage in front of everybody. And then our mini bike there, courtesy of Alexis back there. And Cecia. Well, she's not here though. When they started, they were one like, I really don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try it. And that's what they did. And they won superior at state. Construction, there's our best of show that we were talking about a little while ago. And then we got some workbench.
Did you flip my picture?
I didn't.
Who made this?
That's the new way to.
That was not how my picture was, right?
It's a vertical
Right?
table.
Okay, I showed it in my class. Like,
It's that way, so stuff, it's easier to clean that
I
way.
can see edits, so I can see if you edited it.
Hey, Brian, do you want to talk about, sorry, I didn't know there was another section.
Yeah, there's,
No, don't forget about culinary.
Yeah, this is, culinary, this is some of the work that they did. Now, the harder part is carrying this stuff with us when we go, because it's a long drive, but, they spent a lot of time. These guys were in the hotel lobby the next morning, like trying to touch up and fix before we went. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
burnt myself.
it's a lot of extra.
Yeah.
We had a mishap. What happens? We had a engine stand fail, and it took out a couple of our projects. We were out there fixing them, in the middle of the night. So
Your paint.
it does happen.
Stuck it bad, like it wasn't a little scratch.
Yeah. Welding, there's just a couple of examples here. This was a welding sculpture. That was one. We've got trailers that we take down. It's not like it's all just stuff you hold in your hands. Like, it's pretty substantial work. The sky's the limit when it comes to projects. So the main thing is the project kind of gets you something to feel like is yours, but then we hone those other skills in those different areas, and then you compete. And sometimes you medal. You get to get called on stage, especially like Alexis won a medal. She didn't think she won, and she got first place or second place.
I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
tool
tool
ID,
ID, yeah.
That was a regional.
Yeah.
Yeah, and job interview. That was great. So we don't know what's going to happen until we're there. So it's a shock to us too, and it's really a good feeling for us when you guys do awesome and they call your name and you get to go out there. So that's one reason we do it and why we want to try to help you be the best you can. So,
Brian, do you want to talk about discipline and eligibility, or do you want to wait till individual?
we'd probably wait on that.
Well, I'll just say, you've heard Mr. Brown say over and over and over opportunities. The opportunities that are available with SkillsUSA between creating projects and traveling and competing against other schools and meeting business owners and winning scholarships and winning tools, the amount of opportunities that you guys have the chance to be a part of are huge. So when we get together in the future and talk about discipline and eligibility, you guys need to take that seriously and do the best you possibly can so you have these opportunities. Because I guarantee you, if you talk to anybody in Skills last year, they'll tell you that it's worth it. So hope y'all do that.
We did have a few that didn't take it seriously. They didn't.
Yeah, and you've got to take it seriously all the time. Like, if you're with another group and you mess up, you're out.
Yeah.
Okay, we had that happen last year. Okay.
You guys have any questions that we can answer for you tonight? Some of you repeaters already got an idea, but some of the new guys, we may, and it's okay if you don't want to do it in front, we can talk after, but it's one of those things we strongly urge you again, athletics, they've got their stuff that they do. Everybody has UIL stuff they do. Everybody's got the extra. This is our extra. We don't have some of the fluff that they have. So this is ours. This is our baby. We want to make sure we take care of it, but it's for you because unlike, athletics, like that's the best of the best of the best gets a shot. All of you guys can have a shot because this is a career building thing. This is a future that you can have. And it's not limited to just whoever in that category. Like everybody can do it if you put forth the effort. And this is all for you to showcase what you can do. And like I said, when you get to state and you see some of the really cool projects and some of the hands-on, like there was a kid in aeronautical something or other, like I didn't know half of what he was saying. Like I was embarrassed to talk to him. He was like 16 years old. Brilliant. And they're out there like doing these wild, crazy things I never even thought of.
I will
That's you
say,
guys.
one thing that we talked about over the summer at conference with your job exhibits this year,
Yes.
you will, if you make it to state, you are going to talk about your job exhibit, so your project, to the judges.
Yep.
Which did not happen in the past. In the past, they just put it out there and then you were like,
Yeah,
okay,
you're
cool.
gonna be interviewed.
This year, you will have a little
Part of your
interview with your project at state,
That's a
Okay.
great.
which I think is
opportunity.
fantastic. It's a great way to really put your heart and soul into it, and then
A lot of our guys would stand
What?
next to them and people would ask and they talk about it. But now, like the judge wants to speak to at least, like if it's a 2 or 3 man team, they want to speak to at least 2 of the members of the team. You know, why this? What'd you do? How is this? They want to know the technical information about it, and that's going to be part of the.
that's their
The
plan
rubric.
this year. We'll see. Hopefully, it happens.
They're doing that to the cakes as well, the job exhibits with cakes?
Everything.
Are they still looking at the binders as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I add to that?
Absolutely.
That was really neat last year with the job exhibits. The students that did stand next to their project in the exhibit hall, what was pretty neat is that not only were, judges are going around, but there's a lot of employers that are participating in this organization as well. And so they're walking through the exhibit halls too. And so you never know who you're gonna meet. You could be meeting someone that has some hiring authority, see some good work that you do, and it's almost like a little informal interview that they get to interact with you in. You never know what it could lead to. Never refuse to shake someone's hand and have a conversation about what you're passionate about. Never do that because you don't know what you're gonna turn away if you do. So
Absolutely.
It'll be fun, it'll be good.
Now, there was a couple kids that were offered potential jobs if they finished schooling and like they had contact information from the owners of those companies. Like, that's awesome. I mean, I couldn't imagine being 17 years old talking to the owner of like Snap-on and potentially having a career at state once I finished school. That's pretty wild. Like I said, you'll see everything. I mean, you'll be walking around, there'll be like police officers that are students and they're doing criminal justice stuff, and all of a sudden they just bust out into some sort of training seminar, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
is this real? And they do some like felony arrest right there in the middle of the hall. I mean, it's pretty neat to see it. That's people your age. Oh, it's not like this is college. I mean, this is high school. It's awesome. No questions? Nobody's got anything?
Mandatory question. Somebody has to ask a question before we break.
Guys that were in it last year, is there anything y'all want to add?
It's fun.
Personal
It's
experiences.
fun. You gotta be able to put in the work, weekends, nights after school.
So many
It
hours.
takes tons of dedication, a lot. Especially
That's why
if
it's
you have
extra.
a job, like if you have a job after school, you gotta like learn how to balance those two.
Or if
Because-
you do other extracurriculars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Will there be multiple, I'm assuming, there are, not necessarily, quite a few people here. Will there be multiple, different roles, or will multiple different roles have multiple people filling them?
Do you mean competitions?
Or for the officers.
Officers.
No, there will be one president and it'll be over everybody. Does that make sense? Like one president, one VP. Yes. So we're doing it as a whole, as a school,
Yeah.
skills, not
Rather than for
not
each
construction
classroom.
skills and not,
Yeah.
because I mean, I may not have 6
Yeah.
people sign up. I don't know, you know what I mean? So it's
What-
gonna be one for the whole program.
One thing too, kind of spawning off that just a little bit too, those of you who are in multiple, like if you're in 2 of our areas, you can participate in both. So if you're like one of my guys and you're in construction and you want to do something for Mr. Davis as well, you can do that. You have to kind of balance your time and balance what you're doing, but it is perfectly doable. So it gives you more avenues in order to achieve success.
Braylon, was there two?
Aiden, go ahead. I'm sorry, Braylon. You had one.
Okay, on the project, do not procrastinate.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Do not procrastinate your notebook, do not, none of that.
No, you will regret it so hard. Like
I finished
spent.
my notebook.
What'd you have, man?
I know things into the future, but like, you know how the competition went from Dallas to Corpus, so they're still gonna be in the same location. Right?
So,
Really good question.
Do what?
That's a really
Yeah,
good question.
district this year, so last year was kind of a hodgepodge. District this year is gonna be back in Waco. So if you went the year before, we'll be back there.
All in one.
Corpus is still gonna be for state, but we were informed that they're trying to move everything to the convention center. So, welding is still gonna be at the craft center, but like, what is it, HVAC and plumbing, I believe, are coming. Automotive is being moved to the convention center, so they're gonna have a secondary, like, parking lot to do their stuff. They're trying to keep everything there. Unrelated to y'all, like, we have training we can go to that they're gonna host while they're there, so while you guys are doing your thing, we may be in training seminars too. So they're trying to get everything under one roof and really make it, for everybody to be there, so it's, everybody's doing something and staying active and engaged. What up? Oh, thumbs up.
Olivia?
Question back there?
I actually do have one.
Sure.
Going back on, if they have something else going on, another, like with regards to, is it where they have to like, oh, can't do that, got to put on this, can't do that?
So we've had that several times. It really, it depends on kind of the student and what their end game is and what we're doing at the moment. Like if they're a part of a quiz bowl team where they're kind of expected to partake whatever we're doing and there's a conflict, that's something we try to set up ahead of time. But if it has to do with like a personal test or a job exhibit, we will make that work, because we've got some that have missed for, family reasons or whatnot, and we try to accommodate and make it worth it because it is for the students. But there are just some things that it's like, one or the other. We've had some that had to be in two places at once. You have to decide which one is more meaningful
I'm
at the time.
supposed to be at UIO right now, so, and as soon as this is done, like, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I also do band, so like, it is doable. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it unless you just really like the things you're doing. But yeah, you can do it.
And like we said, that's where that dedication comes in because, you got to want it.
I had to make some sacrifices last year. Like Chef, me and her, we were talking about, because I was doing bass and skills,
Mhm.
and the SkillsUSA award ceremony for district was on the same day as bass competition,
Yeah,
and I wasn't even done with my project yet for bass or skills. So me and her talked, and then I quit bass so I can do skills.
So I'm just going to say it for, devil's advocate on the advisor side. We don't get anything extra for doing this. This is not like it's a secondary job or an overtime thing for us. We spend more time up here with you guys than we do our own families when we're doing this. Her and I've got young kids, and half the time they sprout out. We don't even know what they look like because we're up here with you guys 60 hours, 70 hours a week working on this stuff. And we do it because we believe in y'all and because we want you to be the best version of yourself you can be. It has nothing to do with anything other than the passion that we have for you guys. So we are taking that as well and trying to turn it into you. So if we don't lead by example, it's hard to say that you guys need to do it as well. It's part of that commitment. And we want to do it just as much as we hope that you guys want to do it. Because if we care more than you, then why are we doing it? So it's one of those things that when we ask you to participate and you decide, yeah, I want to do it, it's a lot of work, but we need to make it happen. We want you to get everything out of it you possibly can. Question?
So what about, whenever we go to state, what if we have guests? Like, are we allowed to have visitors to see the job exhibits and stuff like that?
They do that, but it's they haven't told us how they're going to do this year, but there's like limited windows. One thing we do know is if you went last year, remember how the award ceremony was? It was like 47 hours long. This year, they're not letting guests in the award ceremony.
Okay.
Families and everybody can watch it from a different location that's close by, but it's only going to be participants and advisors at the award ceremony. And it's going to be on Saturday morning, not that night. So,
Okay. So we don't have to eat at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's
I mean, we might still be able to, but no, we won't have to.
I'm so tired.
And we believe they'll do the clear outs and everything that afternoon. So,
Anything else? Questions?
Mr. Lush, got anything you want to throw out there?
No, I'll just say if you're involved in different organizations and stuff, that's not a bad thing at all. Be proactive though, because I know like UIL, they have a calendar set, band have a calendar set. So once we have our calendar, you need to take it upon yourself to look at those dates and see where those conflicts are and communicate that in advance. Don't wait until the week before. Because if we're planning to take a group of kids to state in Corpus Christi, 9 hours away, we need to plan for that in advance. And so if you're not able to go, we need to think about, is there a substitute going in your place, things like that. So just communicate in advance, be proactive.
Okay.
It's part of time management. It's not a bad skill to learn.
And some of this, if you're not savvy on it, that's why we're here. We're gonna help you get over that because grade level, experience is kind of irrelevant. We're here to help you and we're gonna walk you through it the best we can. And then that's where it's up to you to put it into action, so. We've had some hiccups, but we've never had a bad time. It's always been working.
Buses, don't forget.
Oh my gosh.
This year is going to be so much better than
Are
last
we
year.
gonna have
I feel
a
like.
plan? Are you gonna have a?
If it does, we'll fix it.
If it does,
Yeah.
we know what to do. It's fine.
Exactly.
Okay, right. We've
It'll work.
already done it.
What was the last time?
As long as the school truck doesn't get stolen.
Hey,
Had that happen
Oh my
it's
God.
always something.
Yeah.
with kids.
Go Pirates.
Go Pirates, yeah.